Hi everyone. It is once again time for the Thursday resources. This is where we give you various resources that have been helpful to us, your youth leaders, as we've sought to understand the Bible and our faith a little bit more. And we are continuing with our series on YouTube channels that we've found helpful. So this week we're looking at the YouTube channel called Honest Youth Pastor. So if we click on here, we get to his channel. Now he has some playlists. This is a guy, I don't know if he's still a youth pastor, but he was at one time a youth pastor. So he has some playlists, but a lot of his videos, oh actually, you know what, it looks like most of his videos are in playlists now. Didn't used to be like that, but you can also just look through what is the latest one. This is the latest one here. I haven't watched it yet, but I kind of want to just for that face. Anyhow, playlists. There are a couple to look at. This one is the podcast that he is part of. There's a few pastors involved in that, and they just put their podcast episodes up on YouTube because they can. He has, various resource videos, some sermons, some random ones. The ones I really want to show you, which the ones that have been most helpful to me, are his sermon reviews. And these are he'll just take a sermon. Usually he'll say, okay, I'm going to do a sermon review on a sermon done by this pastor, and then he'll just go to that pastor's YouTube page or the church's YouTube page, and he'll just grab the most recent sermon and he just reviews it. So these videos are generally about an hour and a half long. He does speed up the video from the sermon. He speeds it up to 1.5 speed so that the pastor is talking faster. You can generally still understand them, but that way he gets through it faster, and he just stops every once in a while and he says, hey, this is a really good thing. If you're looking at a sermon and you're trying to figure out, is this good, is this bad, this is a good thing, or this is not good, this is a red flag. Or there are some things that he'll say, this is not my preference because it distracts from the main message, but it doesn't really matter if it's in there or not. So that's kind of how he does that, and it's long, so it's not for everybody, but I've found it very helpful in determining, is this false teaching? Is this okay? Is this pastor just having an off day? So, for example, there are some that he does that he's like, at the end he's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't listen to this pastor's teaching. There are other ones that he's kind of neutral on. I'll give you an example of each. He's not a fan of Stephen Furtick. Paul Washer, I think he was kind of neutral on. He liked him. He was okay. Same with Voddie Baucham. There's one I'm trying to find that he did just recently. Oh yeah, there's this random one where it was like two pastors on stage teaching at the same time, but like they were going back and forth and taking turns talking. And that's an example of where he just grabbed the last sermon that was on YouTube, and he was like, why are there two people on stage? This is David Platt's church. And there's actually a reason for them both being on stage, so that was a really cool thing where he was like, okay, this is different, but I'm still gonna do the review. And it's sort of just that integrity of like, I'm just gonna review the last sermon they did, not necessarily the most popular one or whatever it might be. There's this one, Matt Chandler. I am a fan of Matt Chandler, his teachings, and the Honest Youth Pastor also says that he was too. And then we get to this sermon and he's like, I don't know if this was an off day or what happened, but that was weird. And so that's an interesting thing where he's not, he'll show his bias, but he'll also be like, okay, maybe that was a little bit different. I'm not sure what to do with that. So anyway, it's very helpful where he'll talk about what he likes and what he doesn't and what he looks for in a sermon and is it a good sermon and that sort of thing. And the other thing I want to let you know about, Honest Youth Pastor has an Instagram page and he does a lot of memes. It's pretty much all memes. And starting in 2021, he began doing themes for his memes. That was not on purpose. But yeah, they have a theme. So this last week was about abuse in the church. He does a bunch of memes about that, stories about that, and then at the end of the week or the next week, he does, I think, a video on YouTube that is about that theme, where he kind of puts all of his thoughts together. Yeah, so that is Honest Youth Pastor. I definitely recommend that you give him a look, whether you go on Instagram or YouTube or both. So, yeah, have a great week, guys.